Hey Kings and Queens, another podcast episode of Project X TV. Today we're going to be discussing Black people in media and like what our image is and what do people who have like really high influences, like what are they really contributing to like the image that's put out there. So we can talk about that. We're going to introduce ourselves though from right, and you can say what you're doing in school or just say something about you, or you can just say
Okay, my name is Francesca. In school I'm studying human rights as an undergrad, but I'm going into corporate law.
Hi, I'm Ketsia and I'm going to college this year and I'm studying art and design fundamentals.
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I just took a year off, so I'm looking to go into George Brown to study nursing.
I'm Marcus, studying criminology. I'm aspiring to become a criminal defense attorney in the future.
I'm Dara, and I'm going to be studying firefighting and in the fall. So.
I'm Mary, and I study kinesiology, but not the science.
I'm Benson, and I study economics at St. Thomas University in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
My name is Alex, and I study IT.
So right now we're just gonna basically talk about, like, to start, like, we all know that obviously, you know, we've talked about it, Black people, Africans, as long as you're Black, you have a certain perception in the media. People think a certain way about you as soon as you see the news. There's certain narratives that are painted behind this. What do you think that role models, people who are either celebrities or activists, what do you think that, like, if you could think of certain people, what do you think that they do to either paint negative images of us or positive images of us? Yeah.
I think like the first person I'm thinking of right now is A$AP Rocky, because like, you know, this whole thing in Sweden happened, and then I saw like a lot of Black people saying like, oh, we can't relate about being in jail like you, because okay, if people don't know, basically like A$AP Rocky like said in an interview that he couldn't relate to police brutality, and then he didn't want to speak about it because he was living in like, you know, in California in like this super nice neighborhood, and that he couldn't relate to other Black people. So then Black people were like not relating to him because he was in jail in Sweden, and they didn't really want to defend him. Anyway, so
I think that like just Black role models we have in the media, we should not look to if you're looking to if you're looking to be successful or looking to, you know, have a positive impact on the Black community. Don't look at role models in the media. You know, every when I look in the media, I look at music, for example. Black people are making music today, not good role models for kids. You know, and I look at Black women who are, you know, famous, whoever it is you can think of. First person you can think of is that often most of them aren't, you know.
Oprah Winfrey.
I think it was Ava DuVernay.
Yeah, I don't see them like, you know.
Not like role models or something.
I don't know.
Honestly, I
So
think
you're saying, sorry, hold on. So you're saying that you can't see, like, you can't think of any Black celebrity, any Black activist, any Black influencer?
Oh, I can think of many Black people in the media who have a really positive
But no
vibe.
celebrities.
Today, like majority of celebrities, I feel like no.
I was going to ask that question. Only like positive influences things we had not negative. Like those ones are true. Like I just stuff like Lupita, Oprah, all of them. The positive ones, cause like in the past few years, if I talk really fast, I think we've made like a really big change in terms of like how we've turned things around. So I find it hard to focus on the negative. If those come out, just ignore it, because the more you focus on the positive, then it will fully change everything around.
Personally, like I remember going to high school and being like when you're a teenager, like oftentimes like your autonomy can be easily affected by your influences. I remember going to high school where I felt like, you know, who am I? What do I want to be? And I looked towards the media, and often things that came into my face were a lot of rappers, for example. You know, just whoever I looked to in the media, that's what I'd see. You know, you have to have a lot of things revolving around, you know, being in the streets and wanting to be this, wanting to be that. And, you know, we grew up in Brampton, right? Brampton's a Toronto suburb, and, you know, I often saw so many people who acted like they were hood, but lived in such a big house, in such a nice area. And it's like, I always wonder, like, yo, why do people act like this? And they live in such nice houses. It's because they look in the media and they see, that's the first thing they see. They don't see the good side of Black people in the media. And then instantly it's like, I want to be like that, you know, I can be like that, I look like that, you know, I can get clothes like that, I can act like that, but you can't really be that because that's not you, you know. But so I feel like it's so easy for like, I feel like black people in the media or a lot of black people becoming famous right now for making music to influence, black children in a shitty way?
Honestly, I personally just think I personally think that the definition of role model is very important to consider, because not every celebrity, not every famous black person in our society is considered or supposed to be considered a role model. And if we really take a look at it, in society, the good role models are the good, like, educated, successful business people that are black, aren't going to be portrayed to us on big platforms. They're always in little magazines in like the cities or whatever.
Yeah,
but
they're not as famous.
They're not as famous, and I think that's what we have to take a look at and very be considerate to that as well.
I feel like the black celebrities that we have now, or like if we look at the media, like Marcus was saying, to be successful, it feels like you have to match this certain stereotype of black person. So if you're like a woman, you have to be like super angry and like cuss and like be the super like stereotypical, like basically like let's say Cardi B or something like that, to be successful. Or even for like black men, they have to like act like hood or whatever. And then like if you're like growing up and you don't fit into that mold, you almost feel ashamed of, I mean, talking about myself, maybe I felt like a little bit ashamed of like maybe I'm not like black enough and I don't fit into that certain type, and I have no one really to look up to that looks like me and kind of acts the same way that I do.
I think that we're also conditioned, although we might want to say it's in our face, I think that in a way we are conditioned to look at a certain person and think of them as black, because in a way there are all different types of black celebrities and black people in the media. It's just who we choose to look at as black, and we do it subconsciously sometimes. Like when I was growing up, obviously I'm from Brampton and I'm not from the hood, like I don't talk a certain way, or like I would just speak like myself, like just my voice, and a lot of people would tell me I'm white, like ask me, oh Dari, why are you speaking like that, or you're so whitewashed. And then eventually, then you want to like to start to like definitely like speak with more slang and do this and do that. But like they're only saying that because of the image that they're taught to look at in the media. Like people, like even there are people, I feel like there's people in the media who do certain things, or maybe who rap or who do this, but they also do certain things for the community that's not portrayed in the media. Like a lot of rappers do a lot of good things for the community. They have a lot of businesses and legitimate stuff, but like that's never going to be portrayed in the media, their actual intelligence. I feel like that's like when people hear that Jay-Z has given back so much to his community, they're like, really? Like Jay-Z? But when they think about Jay-Z, they don't think about that, you know what I'm saying? So I think like that goes in a lot of cases for like a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead.
Like when I was younger, I guess I used to look to the media for like role models and all that, but now that I'm grown up, it's like I look to like my family or so whatever. I really looking like the media.
Yeah.
So
Same.
And
I don't see it like that. Like if I do, I don't look at music. Like I look at like directing and all that. Like Ava DuVernay, I wouldn't say like I look up to her. I just like what she does and how she's like showing like black people and how like everything we went through. So it's like I can't relate to people because they only show like what they want to. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah, and just to touch on that, I think we have to consider also the definition of success, because that means a different thing for a lot of different people. Whereas I think our generation these days, we're just looking at the people who have the most money, but that doesn't mean that they're the greatest role models, and that doesn't mean that they made their money the right way. And I feel like if we're just looking at these celebrities, these black celebrities that have the most money to try to be like them, it's like we're going after the wrong things, we're not looking at their personality traits. We're not looking at, what they're actually doing in their community. We're just looking at what they're doing on social media. But like, forget about social media. At the end of the day, it's not about how many followers you have. Like, that's not what success should mean to anybody. So I think we gotta really look
Yeah,
at
like that's kind of what I was saying. Like we don't, like it's just like, what the media poses of them or what. But like there's actually like a lot of behind the scenes that's actually really like notable.
Successful black individuals in our world that don't necessarily have 250 million followers.
Of course.
Like, so I think we need to stop looking
or who don't have a profile at all.
Exactly. So
I mean, they kind of like they got their image off of doing what they did. Like if they were to be like whitewashed, you say, like doing different stuff, they wouldn't be where they are. Like that's just what white people are. Whoever it is, that's what they see black people doing. So when they see a black let's just say a rapper like Roddy Ricch or Migos or something like that, you know, they'll just their hood and their this and their that, you know, smoking joints and all that kind of stuff. That's how you have to be.
And instantly they think like, okay, that's the only way they can make that much money.
So
Yeah.
even like me going on with Fredericton, it's like, you know, some people be asking like, Benson, why don't you low ride all the time? Because like I'm probably the only black person over there. And they're like, oh, Benson, why don't you low ride all the time? Or why don't you smoke joints? Why don't you do this? And I'm like, bro, that's not who I am. I'm not trying to be like that. But then I notice it's because that's how they see black people as. That's how they see black people portrayed to be.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I don't need
And just to counteract what I already said, if you look at it on the flip side, it's kind of bad how the only black individuals who are portrayed to us are those celebrities that do those things that we're talking about, like not being a good role model.
It's also
Like there's not basically
like that.
exactly basically I'm trying to say there's not enough social media, or there's not enough media attention towards those black individuals that are actual role models. Like all we're seeing is the black celebrities that are doing the wrong thing, basically.
For example,
No, it's okay, go ahead.
Well, for example, like Nipsey Hussle, like when he was alive and he was doing the good stuff in the community, ain't nobody know about that stuff.
Like, I didn't
So
know
he
him till he died.
Exactly. So ain't nobody actually know about him until he died and what he was doing and how important he was to the black community and to a lot of different things. And it's like, it's just messed up because you really want people to actually be portrayed in that light.
And I think that we also have to note that most of the time, like those black celebrities, even their rappers and stuff, there's like a white man behind it, like generating their image and all that stuff. So they have to act a certain way and do all of that in order to like be able to make the most money.
That's messed up. You're like a puppet.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, make money. Yeah, you know, let's make money. And another thing too, we're talking so much about, you know, what black people do in the media. We're not talking about how they look in the media as well. What does a smart black person look like, right? Often when I look in the media, I see a lot of men with short hair. This comes from someone who grows the locks. You know, I see a lot of men with short hair in the media who are portrayed as smart. I see a lot of men with hair like mine that are portrayed as dumb. I see a lot of women with fake hair in.
Or colored hair.
Yeah, right.
As long as you see a black person with colored hair, then that's an issue.
Yeah, I see a lot of.
No, before
I see a lot of.
now it's like dimming down, but before like any more titles, like when you're ratchet, you from the book get on
If you're a black woman and you color your hair, you are ratchet, you are cheap, it's probably synthetic, da 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 da. If you're a white woman and you color your hair, you're creative, you're breaking trends, you probably have money because you go to the hairdresser often, da 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 da. So that's just what it is when it comes to like portrayal of like, when it comes to like that in media, and like you see like famous like rappers, like female rappers like with like colored hair, like that is just like already, oh my gosh, she's ratchet, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but also too, like, you know, I see a lot of black women who are famous now, you know, like, they name a few, I don't know, maybe you have Oprah, you'll have, we just talked about Oprah, I can't think of anybody else. But I rarely see a lot of successful black women with long, natural black hair, right? I don't
Oprah's
see
hair is natural? Question? I'm not sure. She says it
It's
is.
straight.
Oh, she says it
But
is.
it's
The
straight.
only like
I actually
straight
the
hair.
only natural like celebrity, like black celebrities, like Sky Jackson, that was like on the Disney Channel, and she had her natural hair
Yeah.
as well. That I love
like
that.
Issa
But when I
Rae.
saw that,
Oh,
But you don't see a lot of it, is my
Yeah.
question.
No.
And it's like, you know, when
Like when
young
you
black
see
people
it,
now
it's
go out in the
flipped
real world.
around, kind of.
Yeah, when young black people now, we go out in the world now. For me to have long hair, either it's got to be an afro or it's got to be my locks. You know, it can't be. And if it's any other way, it's not real.
Because
I
black,
altered
well,
it.
yeah.
So the
Well,
thing about it
wear a
is,
wig today.
when you look in the media now, it's like, you know, one thing that I feel like is messed up is that it's oftentimes where, you know, black people who are successful often have to have short hair. If you're a guy, and if you're a girl, you gotta have hair the white way, or else, you know, they look at you and say, oh, you know, nah, you know, that's not how hair's supposed to look. And oftentimes in the States too, I remember one reason why I didn't want to practice law in the States is because in all states except for New York, you can't have law. They can legally say, I don't want to hire you because you have dreadlocks in your hair. That's what
Didn't
it
they
said.
just make it a law in New York where they
They
can't
just
do that?
made- that's what
But
it
they
said.
just
They
made
just
it a
made
law
a
where
law
you can wear your natural hair. It's like,
Where you
okay.
can wear locks
really
and
dumb.
Thank you. Like,
That's
thank you so much for.
But I feel like
using
the way we're
the
portrayed
hair on my
in the
head.
media, how we look, you know,
Yeah.
why does there have to be a certain look that you have to have if you're black to be successful without going in the direction of
I think
you know, being a rapper, being
I
a
think it
Yeah.
all comes
Also-
from back when you had to assimilate to white culture in order to actually be seen as individual.
But that's still now.
But we're at a certain point now
But
where
we're
we
still at that.
shouldn't
that's
have
what
to
I'm
feel
saying.
we have
Like
to
all those
conform to
people
that.
that we see is like they haven't evolved from that. So.
And it's also the social culture, like some of the, I feel like it's almost like just to put like a dealer like barriers in how black people can move forward and succeed. So like if they want to practice that to carry a lot of faith together, just to delay black people more, actually become successful. Because that white man doesn't want to see that successful black story. To just keep making weird and just useless excuses, just to delay you back. I was in like a desk program. I had like a mini afro. It barely touched my neck, and I'll leave it out. And I wear my beret. My captain's like, you're not allowed to do that. Your hair is too big. It's too puffy. It's too frizzy. I had another captain. Her hair will touch her collar, and it's like straight, like that. Because like, but the hair is touching the collar, and I've looked at the rules, and it was fine. I went 2 to 3 years. There were no problem because of that. Like I went through so much shit just because I can't meet up to like their white mini standard.
But that's the thing, you have to be able to identify when it's a racist thing. Like I had the same thing happening at work. They said, you know, your hair is too long or whatever. I said, my hair is long, bro. Are you kidding me? Like it says it's got to be at least shoulder length. My hair doesn't pass my shoulders. Why? You know, if I came here and I had, you know, a long, nice, straight ponytail, I was white, you know, you wouldn't be saying this to me right now. You know,
True.
think about it. Would you? You can answer. You can tell me you wouldn't. But you know in your head, you know, you can tell me you wouldn't, no problem. But you know what's going on here.
Yeah, that's
You know what? I'll put my hair up, no problem. At the end of the day, I know what you're doing right now.
But at the end of the day, it's like we know, they know, but like how do we solve that issue and how do we like get away from just being submissive to that?
Always identify
You know what I
when you
mean?
see it. Identify
Like,
it and then just
you
say,
can
you know,
just
I
speak
know.
on
You can always identify it and speak
I don't.
on it.
I
like, how
think.
does things
In order
change?
to actually like change it, like you actually have to put yourself in like a position of power if you feel strong enough about the issue. Because like if you just keep on going around saying I'm not gonna change my hair, like I mean I feel like that personally, like there's different ways to go about, but I feel personally like in that particular situation, that's not the way to change that particular way. Like you have to put yourself in a position of power to actually have that type of influence. If you keep on trying to go, like that's just what I like personally. I feel like there's different ways to go about it, but to me that feels like the most productive. I feel like if you go around, okay, yeah. So I was just saying that like you know if we want to change, I feel like just for that part, if we want to change in the workforce, like I the way that I see it more like that would have the biggest influence is if we went into the workforce and you know we conform to their standards, we got positions of power and we changed it. Because if I'm going for job interviews and all the job interviews are controlled by white people and I keep on saying no, I'm not going to change my hair, they people who hire people can change you like that, especially in places of business. If you die, the next week they have a next person covering your place. Like nobody mourns for you, nobody cares if you want to change your hair. And I'm saying that at the end of the day, it's either we get in and then build up and then say okay and then have influence, or we make our own businesses in our own ways. I feel like when it comes to the business world, like especially nowadays, like it's just so much better for us if we just take control and just do it.
100%.
Well, I'll ask you
Like,
this.
yeah.
So, okay, so if I want to gain experience as a lawyer, should I cut my hair off and work for a big firm and then grow my hair out when I become big, or should I go there like this and, you know, accept the challenges of starting off as a lawyer and finding a good firm to work at? What should I do?
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
I personally
I have my own answer, but I just want to see your advice. and shit.
I personally think that you should not change a thing about you
Yep.
just because you need to set a new standard for not only yourself but other people.
with
Well,
the
yeah,
same
yeah,
people
yeah.
Number one,
Yeah,
number
100%.
two, they're gonna accept you whether or not. It doesn't matter, especially if you're a good lawyer. Like,
You
Yeah.
have it on paper, right?
Yeah.
You have it on paper, you have it in
Facts.
person. Like they can't tell you no if it's automatically
I mean,
yes.
then-
it's always
I
gonna
mean,
be yes.
How can this be so
Facts,
it's also
facts.
a lot
But
of-
it's also shit. I forgot. But like there was something else.
But then also it means again that we have to work harder to have like the
No,
same
yeah. Say
type
something,
of treatment
bro.
as someone
Yeah,
else.
I'm saying that even if we do, even if you're super good at what you do and you get in and you don't conform, at the end of the day, we as Black people still have to come together and make sure that we are making ways for ourselves so that we don't have to fight 3 times as hard. I'm just saying
The
that.
other thing I was gonna say is we can't go into things in life thinking the negative all the time. Like, for me, like if I thought about the negative things that would come at me, regardless of what I am or what I am going to try and do, then I would never do anything ever. And opportunities wouldn't come my way because I'm not going towards it. You have to go into life trying to break down these standards, not trying to conform to them because you think you're not gonna make it because of that reason.
Well,
that's what I thought too.
I like to brace myself.
I told myself I always have dreams sometimes of not having any hair. Like I cut my hair off, right? And it terrifies me because not that, you know, short hair ugly. You know, it
That's
terrifies
not me.
me
I just
because,
saw you in the mirror going like this and going.
you know, because like, you know, not having my hair anymore, just be like, oh my god, I spent so much on that, you know, like that was me. Like I love my hair, so I always think of that. I said like, you know, if I had to cut my hair off just to get a job or just to make it in this world, in this society,
and it's so
I would just. I'd be so depressed.
Yeah, and
you know, like,
honestly, it's so sad because I saw a video of this. I think it was some guy that
The
was
wrestler
playing
guy.
sports. Yeah, the
Yeah,
wrestler guy. They cut out his hair so he could win the match.
No, I wrestled a second. If I had to step on that match and come out, I wouldn't do that. No, I would finish my match. Because I would find that ref if I had to.
If he didn't cut his hair, his team would be disqualified.
Yeah.
I would leave
Listen.
everyone.
No, but I wrestled. I wrestled white girls and their hair's all over their face.
Because if
like
their
their hair is stand back, so it's not distracting
So
nobody.
my thing is,
I have white people with their hair in their face, not to like wrestle, they tangle hair in their face, and they don't talk about them. We talk about the dreadlocks, which already
so my
tied back.
thing is,
Personally, I
like,
think you should just got a braid up.
for me.
my thing is,
You'd have been
there
blessed.
is. I personally think there are ways around that whole situation, and I
Like a
personally
burrito.
think that no one, even his parents, like anybody in his family that was there rooting for him, should have
Of
never
course.
allowed that to happen.
No, but also
Like-
his teammates, like they were like, instead of like defending him, they were like, cut your hair so we can win. If you guys aren't standing up for me, I'm not standing up for you guys. We're not a
But
team
I also
anymore.
think that we're not
When you
teaching.
said
You know, yeah, exactly. We're leaving.
Yeah, we're also not teaching people to like fight. Like I feel like we're just like accepting shit as it comes, and it's like okay, yeah,
Like,
I
people
gotta do
just
this.
get tired of fighting, so they get not like
Yeah,
you have to pick the right battle. So maybe for him that wasn't the biggest battle.
Yeah.
But as we see, it was a huge.
But like,
It depends on, yeah, do you know what? It's
Scared, though.
like, I know, and do you know, I look for me, people don't get it. I might say this and a lot of people won't get it, but for me, especially my locks, hair is very personal, hair is very spiritual, and hair carries a lot of energy. I don't let just anybody touch my head.
Me
I don't
too.
let just anybody.
Oh
I don't even
my
go
gosh.
to the, I don't even just go to the hairdresser. I wash my hair myself, do my hair myself. Like to be honest, I feel like hair is very spiritual. So when I have to go into a place of work and cut it off, I personally do think like, you know, it is something, like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But and do you know what? Like before, like we close this off, like I was gonna bring up so many times, like if you guys, because I love Rihanna so much, I was gonna bring up if you guys thought that she was like a positive role model. But like then we were talking about how like, you know, there's like different role models in the media, like they still have certain things about them that is not the that's a stereotypical black woman. And in her case, I feel like it's because she's not that she's successful because of that, but a lot of media hype her up because she's of a lighter skin tone in that sense, and she always has a straight hair, or she doesn't, or like sometimes she doesn't really have her natural hair out. And I feel like people like her, not that it dims their success, but like when people like me that don't look like that and look like that as the role model for a black woman, especially black women who aren't necessarily as secure in themselves or haven't came into their consciousness, and they look at that, they're like, if that's the form of success that I have to be to, you know, be a business owner, you know, have all the success, and it's just really like, I feel like that can like damage somebody in a way. But
That's what I'm saying.
Go
Like,
to
they-
business.
But it all,
black people
I
have
think
their
it
hair
all
straight
paints
on, like,
a
straight
picture of
waves.
like what you need to look like. You gotta be, like you said, like she's a lighter skin tone. She's very fit. Like
yeah.
she doesn't have any impurities to say that's like being shown. So like shit like that, it all paints a
That's
whole
what I'm saying.
picture.
At the end of the day, like you can't look successful.
You can't look
Yeah.
at me and say, I can tell that guy does. Maybe you can based on like, you know, what your clothes are saying and you know how, you know, all of that. Maybe,
But not
yeah,
even-
but just because of like your inherent looks, you can't tell.
I feel like Oprah
how someone-
Winfrey is the only person I can think of that's like not really a stereotypical black woman. Like she's bigger, she loses weight, she gains weight, she loses weight, she gains weight. She has her natural hair out, and she's like kind of more of like a positive role model. And she's not like the, like, you know, what they want us to be, or what they, the lighter skin and the long hair. But in a way, she worked extremely hard to own Harpo Studios or whatever it's called. and go ahead.
Just a little thing about the natural hair. Like I look up because I wear wigs, I wear weaves, and I wear my natural hair. I do all of that. Exactly. So a lot of like people, like black women that like I've seen like that are in show business and stuff say that they don't like wearing their natural hair out because most hairstylists don't know how to manage natural hair and damage it. So if I were them in that type of field, I wouldn't want to have my natural
hairstylist then.
But even if you go to,
but it's easier said than done sometimes.
Yeah, when you go to school, even black hairstylists don't always know how to manage, like some don't know how to manage like natural hair but know how to manage relaxed hair. Because like my mom is a hairstylist and she specializes in natural hair and she's been giving classes to a lot of like
I'm speaking. I gotta speak next.
to other hairstylists and stuff. And in school, when you go to like hairstyling school, or I don't know how it's called, they don't teach you natural hair. You have to learn it from yourself.
You just gotta get the aunties to teach you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no don't go to hairstyling.
And then I understand why people like in that field don't want to have their natural hair out. I don't want someone to fry my hair.
Yeah, black hair is so much more sensitive.
Exactly.
It's very, people don't understand how, especially as a black woman, especially if you have 4C, 4B, anything in the forest hair, it's very sensitive. So when people say, oh, I don't see black women in media when they have natural hair with their hair long, it's because black hair is very sensitive, and to grow it long, it takes like a lot of time and care and a lot of education too.
Isn't supporting our hair, so it's not gonna.
It's not made by us. I don't.
We have to take control of our own products and stuff. We can't have the Chinese people owning them.
It's true. At the end of the day, like one thing I think about, like I remember one time a few years ago, I got S-curl in my hair. It was long for my locks.
I remember.
And like I don't know. I look back and I'm like, what was I doing? But like I thought it was hot back then, Like my hair's curly now. I'm taking beard pics. Girls remember it, They don't see me in their head right now. But I had to talk to my mom. I said, Mom, this is easy, I can just, wake up, put some water in my hair, and I look blessed, Why can't I just go, go to school like this? And I'm thinking, because my mom has locks. She's really, just for all that, right? Like, most of my opinions and how I think about certain black issues from my mom. She said, like if you love your hair, you're gonna go through that for your hair. Why is it that we're the race with, the best looking hair, most interesting textures, the most we can do with our natural hair, yet we wear fake hair the most often? Why is that? You have a lot. It's portrayed a lot.
Yeah, true.
Let me keep going though. White girls do not wear as much fake hair as us. Come on. Hey, listen. I'm not speaking. I've seen every white girl I've seen in the past 2 months I haven't seen one white girl in the past 2 months with fake hair in her hair.
Because you don't look, because you don't think they wear fake hair.
Okay, so
Marcus, you got yourself in trouble.
I'm just gonna jump in here. Basically, what I want to say is, I think it all depends on where you're living as well, because where I'm living right now in Brantford, a lot of my friends that are Caucasians, they wear extensions, like they wear like different like hairstyles that I work with. And like honestly,
like white people?
Yeah. And like honestly, you wouldn't No, but honestly, the only thing
even when we were talking about how, even if your statement was true, black people, they wear more fake hair, why? The thing is that you have to understand culturally and historically, tribally, like we come from like tribes and stuff where that is like a thing where they add in either fake hair or fake material in
that
their hair.
That is not what they do.
Marcus has a point when he says that women should be wearing, like, my mom and my sister both have extremely short hair. Like, they don't have long, curly hair. And whenever they go out, they never wear the natural hair. I mean, never. Like, even to go to the store, my mom will always wear a wig or she'll always wear something. I'm always like, why don't you just wear your natural hair? She's like, I don't want these people want to see me in my hair and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't really care.
There it is.
And then the thing is, you have to understand their point, because their point is, you know what? The thing is, their point is like, you know what? we want to, like, if that was how it was for us, then okay, we can do that. But the thing is, like, culturally, it's like you have to. Like, it's like
For me,
you can't.
For just what you said, we should be changing that shit.
That's
No,
That's you.
wait. For me, I totally understand where you're coming from. I totally understand where you're coming from. You guys are like, there's validity in what you're saying. Like, black people do wear a lot of wigs and stuff, but I can only speak on my personal experience. I'm not gonna speak about everyone else. Personally, I change my hair all the time because I feel like I don't want to always look the same. I want to switch it up. And it's funny because whenever I do shit like that or I wear my natural hair, I'm always getting compliments from Caucasian people because they're like, oh my gosh, like that's so amazing. Can I do that to my hair? Da 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 da. And I honestly think that at the end of the day, it's all up to what you want to do if you know why you're doing it, but you still love yourself and what you're doing. If you're doing it because you're trying to cover up who you really are, because you think you're not going to be accepted being the way you actually are, then that's an issue. But if you're doing it because like you really just want to, you know, experiment, you want to be creative, like that's a different topic.
That's the thing too.
And I
like,
think
Wait, hold on. Wait, no more people.
One thing.
Frank's the last person.
That in people's heads, when they automatically see a black person with not, like fake hair or hair that isn't theirs, they're gonna think, oh, they don't love themselves. But that's not always the case. That's all I have to say.
Do you know what, guys? Like, obviously, this is a conversation that should have a part 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we can talk about. I got comments for black hairs all day after the whole yelling. I should silence, but we got stuff to say. We got tea to spill. But thank you so much for listening, guys, to all of our podcast episodes. Please continue to watch and good job, guys.
continue to watch.
Look. We gotta wake up from a system of materialism. This guy's thinking if we're gonna see another day. Cause day to day we